After such fanfare, failure. This North Korean rocket is now in pieces in the Yellow Sea, an international embarrassment to its new leader, and cause for concern that the Korean peninsula just became a more dangerous place. A Defense Ministry spokesman told reporters an additional missile launch and nuclear test is highly probable, and for internal political reasons, a military provocation is also likely. Pyongyang shelled South Korea's Yongpyong Island a year and a half ago, perceived at the time as a way to show Kim Jong-un as a strong leader in waiting. The same for the sinking of South Korean warship Cheonan 2 years ago, though the North denied involvement.
And so what it's going to do is basically enter into a new era of further provocative acts like it's never seen before, because North Korea and Kim Jong-un, this young leader, has to prove domestically to the power bases that be, which is specifically the military brass, that he's up to the job and he's tough enough to stand up to the international community.
A South Korean intelligence report claims that North Korea is preparing for a third nuclear test. And after today's rocket failure, there's a growing feeling among experts that Kim Jong-un may feel backed into a corner, making a nuclear test a near certainty.
They really understand that in the midst of an election year, neither the Americans or the Chinese or the Russians will want to rock the boat. So in essence, North Korea is probably calculating they can get away with it.
Some concerns on the streets of Seoul, although after years of tests and tensions, residents here do have an ability to take these events in their stride.
They are insane, and they don't know how to make the peace for the world. Not only to South Korea, but for the whole world.
Now the world has to wait for North Korea's next move. And South Korea's foreign minister, not surprisingly, had a strong condemnation for the North going ahead with this launch, even in the face of such international outrage and warning against the launch itself. And he also said that he regretted the fact that North Korea is spending what he called enormous resources on the missile technology and nuclear capabilities when there is such a chronic food shortage in the country itself. Anna?
Paula, you mentioned that planned third nuclear test, also this, this military provocation that is expected, as you say, in the weeks and months ahead. What is the likelihood that South Korea could react to that?
Well, South Korea is not going to react on its own. It's very much tied to the United States here. There's 28,500 US military personnel stationed in South Korea every single day. And of course, they cooperate very closely when it comes to military defense from North Korea. So certainly we're not going to see the case where South Korea actually goes it alone and responds to any kind of provocation. But remember, a year and a half ago, when North Korea shelled one of the South Korean islands, killing 4 people, there was an initial retaliation by the South Koreans, but they had a measured response. The international community convinced them to have a measured response. The same happened 2 years ago when the Cheonan warship was sunk, although the North Koreans deny responsibility for that. 46 people were killed in that attack. Again, there was a measured response from the South Koreans. So certainly they will be cooperating closely with the United States. The United States will not want to see any military action from either side. But it's unlikely that we will see a strong military response from the South Koreans, because it could be seen once again as a provocation then from the North, and that could escalate quite quickly.